Om Sam Saraswati Namaha. Namaste. Namaste. This evening we're going to begin the discussion of the samskara called Gharbhaa Dhaana. It means planting the seed in the womb. And this is very, very far away from sexual activity. This is spiritual puja. This is an opportunity to demonstrate the highest respect to your spouse, to your family, to your guru, to your community. And this is one of the samskaras amongst a very important samskara. That's where we all started. We're going to read from the Kali Puja book, starting with the Gharbhaa Dhaana Viddhi on page 239. Om Vishwa Vishwatha Vishwata Karta Vishwa Yomnija Navapushpot Savecharya Grihanatwang Divakara Om Sampada Kriti Rakashe Shobharupi Jagat Prabho Sakshi Twang Sarvabhutanam Grihanorgyam Divakara Om my God Chagyat Kritang Karma Sampradang Palaketabe Timiragna Mahatejo Grihanorgyam Divakara Om Navapushpod Sadechargyam Tadami Bhakti Tatpara Sampadang Hetu Kartacha Grihanorgyam Divakara Om Namaste Bhagavan Surya Lokasakshin Vibhavaso Putrarticha Prapanoham Grihanorgyam Divakara Om Kamalakanta Devesha Sakshi Tvancha Jagatpate Bhaktasya Tava Panawaham Grihanorgyam Divakara Om Swargadipa Namaste Astu Namaste Pushpatapana Navapushpod Savechargyam Grihanorgyam Divakara Om Namaste Padmini Kanta Sukhamoksha Padayaka Chayapate Jagat Swami Swargadipa Namo Astute Om Vishwatma Vishwabandhuscha Vishwesho Vishwalochana Navapushpot Savechargyam Grihanatwam Divakara Om Chapakusum Sankasham Kashyapeyam Mahadyutim Tamoring Sarapapagnam Pranatuasmi Divakaram Om Namo Vivaspate Brahman Vashpate Vishnute Jase Jagat Savitre Suchake Savitre Karmadagine Om Hring Prajapataye Swaha Om Vishnur Yoning Kapayantu Tvashtarupani's Pingsatu Ansinchutu Prajapatir Datagarbam Dadatute Om Garbam Dehi Snibali Garbam Dehi Saraswati Garbam Te Ashwino Deva Vadadatang Pushkarisrajo Om Kling Sring Ring Sring Hum, and to the woman's name in the dative case, Putra Kamaye Garbhamadeki Swaha Om Vishnur Jistena Rupena Naryamatsyam Vagisam Sutamadeki Swaha. Now, the first thing that happens, we got to decide why we want this baby. What's the purpose of making a baby? And the only reason I can conceive of is that there is such fullness, such abundance, such a treasure that we are sharing, that we've got to share it with something new. We're going to create someone new being to be nurtured with our fullness. We're experiencing this waves of love, and these waves of love are coming over us, and we've got abundance, and we know where we're going. We know how we're going to get there. We've got it planned. We've got our finances in order. We can afford to have a baby. Mama can take off for some time, and she doesn't have to work so hard. And now let's go to the Guru and say, Guruji, we want to have a baby. What shall we do? We want to conceive this divine love. We want to make an embodiment of our divine love. What should we do? And now, as many as there are gurus, so many are the padhotis by which the guru performs the putreshti yajna. And that is the yajna in order to conceive divine children. Remember in the Ramayana, when all the three wives of Ram, Kaushalya, Kaikeyi, and Sumitra, they were sitting with Dasharat, and and the Guru, Vashishta, and they said, Guruji, we want to have children. Could you perform the yajna for us so that we could have children? And Vashishta said, you know what? I don't do that yajna. Let's go ask Rishi Shringa, because Rishi Shringa performs that yajna. That yajna is his area of expertise. So, Dasarat, king, you go and see the Rishi Shringa and let him perform the yajna for you. And Kaikeyi said, call the prime minister, let him assemble the army, let's get the elephants and chariots and the horses, and the king will go in royal splendor, and ask the Rishi to perform the yajna. And Vashishta said, stop! No, you don't go to ask a Rishi to perform worship for you on your behalf by demonstrating your royalty and your splendor and your wealth and your power. The king should go in humility with bare feet, and he should go with a bare head and leave his crown at home and go with begging for alms. When you go to a guru to ask for worship and ask for blessings, don't go to demonstrate your wealth and your power. Go to demonstrate your humility and sincerity. Dasharat took off his shoes, took off his crown, went all by himself to see the Rishi and said, please, perform the yajna for us, by which we can have children. We want divine children. And Rishi Shringa was pleased and said, Tathastu. And he performed the yajna. And as he was performing the yajna, out of the divine fire came the chalice of rice pudding. And Dasarat took the rice pudding and he divided into two. And he gave one half to Kaushalya, the mother of Ram, and he gave one half to Sumitra, the mother of Bharat, and they each took their half and divided it again in half and gave their halves to Kaikeyi. Sumitra? They gave to Sumitra. And Sumitra gave birth to the twins, Lakshman and Shatrughan. Kaikeyi gave birth to Bharat, and Kaushalya gave birth to Ram. And it was done by the blessings of the Rishi. Now, the Rishi says until we do not conceive, every day you will offer orghya to the sun. Take 9 flowers and go outside in the early morning at sunrise and take a little bit of black sesame seeds and some water and give a flower and sesame seeds and water, and you will sing, Om, you are the universe, the nourisher of the universe, the creator of the universe, and the womb of the universe as well. O radiator of light, you please accept this offering comprised of all 9 flowers. Navapushpo grihani twang divakara. You are the unattainable wealth which resides in the atmosphere of the most beautiful form, the Lord of the worlds. You are the witness of all the elements. O radiator of light, you please accept this offering. Now remember that the sun, Surya, he's the light of wisdom. He's the warmth of devotion. He wakes up all of creation to activity. He inspires within us knowledge. We always think of light and dark as being knowledge and ignorance. When I'm in the light, I'm full of knowledge. I understand. And when my light is diminished, my understanding is accordingly diminished. Oh, you grant the fruit to be obtained from all the actions which I have performed. You who take away the darkness, O great light, O radiator of light, you please accept this offering. Om, this offering comprised of all 9 flowers, I am giving with the highest devotion. And you are the maker of all wealth. Please accept this offering, O radiator of light. Oh, my bow in devotion to the Lord, the Sun God, the light of wisdom, the seer of all the worlds and inhabitants thereof, the attitude of all beings. For the purpose of having a child, I am extolling you. Please accept this offering, O radiator of light. This is part of our sankalpa. Every day from the time that the Guru gives us the blessing to go ahead and begin to prepare ourselves, then every day husband and wife together will go and will offer the sun, the light of wisdom, the warmth of devotion. You please come and bless us with this child. This is our sankalpa, our total ideal. Our idea is fixed in totality, in oneness, in unity, in harmony, in this purpose to have a child. It's not a decision that we take lightly. It's not a decision that is made the morning after. It is a sankalpa that we, from our fullness, have determined it is time to be blessed with progeny. Om, with your lotus throat, Lord of all gods, you are the witness of all and the Lord of the world. With this song of devotion, I am extolling you. Please accept this offering, O radiator of light. Om, light of heaven, I bow in devotion to you. I bow in devotion to the heat of the universe. So he's heat and light. He's top. He's got both qualities. The heat purifies, the light illuminates. We have knowledge and purification, purity together, combining in our desire to please be blessed with children. You please, O radiator of light, you please accept this offering comprised of all 9 flowers. Om, O lotus throat, I bow in devotion to you. You are the granter of pleasure and liberation, Lord of the shadow, master of the worlds. O light of heaven, I bow in devotion to you. Of course, he's the Lord of the shadow because when he shines, he creates a shadow on the backside of every object that he illuminates. So therefore he's Lord of the shadow, and that makes him also Lord of appearances, because Chaya, it means, but Chaya Pate, he's the Lord of Chaya, and Chaya means the appearance, the shadow. So you see, when the side that he illuminates gives forth its appearance. And the backside, which is uncognizable, he's in the shadow. So in both aspects, he's Chayapate. Jagat Swami, he's the Lord of the universe. And he's also the husband of Chaya. One of his wives was named Chaya. O light of heaven, I bowed, Chayapate. O Lord of the shadow, master of the worlds, O light of heaven, I bow down in devotion to you. Om, soul of the universe, friend of the universe, Lord of the universe, eye of the universe, O radiator of light, you please accept this offering comprised of all 9 flowers. Om, with the redness of the hibiscus flower, O son of Kashyap, of great splendor, remover of the darkness of all sin, I bow in devotion to you, O radiator of light. Remember, Kashyap Muni was the progenitor. He had 3 wives. There was Diti and Oditi, and then there was Kedu. And Diti was the mother of all of the Asuras, or the forces of duality. And Aditi was the mother of all the gods, and she was the forces of unity. And Kedu was the mother of all the snakes and other birds and other animals of the forest, of the creation. So, as the husband of Aditi, he gave birth to the son, which was one of the gods. So, Kashyap, he's the son of Kashyap, of great splendor, and he's red like the hibiscus flowers when he comes out of we were just recently in Rishikesh, and when you could see the sun coming out of the water at sunrise and over the mountain, and he looked like red like a hibiscus flower. Remover of the darkness of all sin, I bow in devotion to you, O radiator of light. And now we're going to give the Orgya. Om, I bow in devotion to he whose own self is the universe, infinite consciousness, whose own self shines, the light of universal consciousness, to the light of the worlds, to the one who indicates or shows, to the bearer of light who gives all karma. Om Maya, to the Lord of all created beings, I am one with God. Om, may Vishnu grant the power to conceive. May Twashta give the form. Twashta is the architect of the gods. He is also another name of Surya, of Savitar. He is the one who designs the forms of creation. It's a Vedic name. May Prajapati, the Lord of all the Praja, all beings born, the Pati of the Praja, sprinkle it with blessings, and may Data support the womb. Data is the he who supports the universe. May Sinivali, and Sinivali is a name of Saraswati. It means she who is always illuminated. She's always the spirit of illumination. Support the womb. May Saraswati support the womb, the goddess of all knowledge. And remember, Sara is the ocean, and Swa is one's own, and Ti is the embodiment. So may Saraswati, the embodiment of one's ocean of experience, support the womb. May the Ashwins, and they were the physicians of the gods, they were the doctors, blessed with good health, who wear garlands of lotuses, support the womb, make this healthy, illuminated, intelligent, knowledgeable contribution to this creation. And now we're going to offer those flowers, kling, string, ring, string, hung, to the lady's name in the dative case. And that means, remember, there are 8 cases in Sanskrit grammar. There's nominative, accusative, dative, ablative, instrumental, vocative, locative, and genitive. And those are all 8. And they're not in the right order. But dative means 2. Like if you say Shiva, that means nominative. Shiva goes to school. He's the subject of the sentence. If you say Shivaya Namaha, I bow to Shiva. Now you use the lady's name in the dative case. For example, if we were going to say Kali, we would say Kaliyai. In the dative case, Putra Kamaya Garbhamadehi Swaha Om Klim Stream Ring Sring Hung, grant conception to this woman's name who desires a child, Swaha. I am one with God. Now, Vishnu, in thy excellent form, give to this woman an excellent child. I am one with God. And this is called Ritu Samskara, which should be performed daily by both husband and wife together from the time of taking the sankalpa until conception. Now, on the night of union, before physical intercourse, first the wife should perform puja to her husband as Lord Shiva, according to the complete system of worship. And then the husband should worship his wife as the Divine Mother. He can perform Durga Puja, Kali Puja, Lakshmi Puja, just as is his desire. And after the husband and wife have completed the worship and honor of the divine through their spouse, the worship of communion proceeds. And here we'll pause. And first of all, let's talk about why we want to have this child. We want to have a child not to keep us together, but because we're so much together already. We want to have a child as the expression of our love, as the shared joy of our communion, that we can commune through this child and put all of our best qualities and characteristics, our best attributes into this child. And the child will be the guru so that we are always desiring to demonstrate the best. The child will keep us on track so that we always, in front of the child, we say, hey, oh, the child is here. God is watching. Now remember, there are 5 attitudes or 5 relationships with which you can come to God. There's Santan Bhav, like the child of God. Like Kaushalya to Ram, or Yashoda to Krishna. There is Matri Bhav, like being the mother or the parent of the child, like the relation between Kaushalya and Ram, or Krishna and Ram, and Yashoda. So you either as a child to the parent, or as a parent to the child. And then there is Priya Bhav, like Radha to Krishna, or Sita to Ram. Wherever my Ram goes, there I shall go with him. Or Radha, who could think of nothing else but the sound of Krishna's flute. There is Das Bhav, which says, I am the servant of God. Like Hanuman. He only knew that he was there to serve God, and he would get it done by God. He would get it done. And there his yogi bhav. Aham brahmasmi. Bir bhav. I am the yogi. I shall come into union through my own efforts. Now here we have the desire of the parents to give birth to God. And the desire of the parents to be in the presence of God and to take care of God and to give God all the love and all the nurturing and all the nourishment of their capacity. And for these reasons, they take the sankalpa. You can see Shree has performed this puja for numerous people around the world. And oftentimes in the yajna we say special mantras, we offer special fruit or rice pudding. Oftentimes it's a coconut. Afterwards, those people who are desirous take that fruit from the fire and they take it to their home and divide it. And the husband eats and the wife eats. And then they offer this orgya to the sun in prayer every day until the ritu, the season. It's called the rhythm method. Until it's most appropriate for them to unite so that they could give birth to a child. Let's stop here for a moment and see if there are any questions that we should discuss. Nanda?
A question from Manya from Canada.
Yes, Manya, namaste.
We are fast approaching 7 billion humans on the planet. How should this affect our decision to have or not to have children?
The number of the population shouldn't affect whether you should or you should not have children. But it could affect the number of children that you'd want to have. You will have children, Manya. All of us will. Either they will be physical children or they will be spiritual children. But we will all nurture the next generation. Now, whether you choose to have children and lead the life of the Mother of God, or you choose to become the Divine Mother and be a spiritual inspiration to others, is up to you. But the number of the population should not affect whether you will want to have children or not. It will affect how you want to prepare those children. How do you want to nurture them? How do you want to empower them? What is the best things that you could give them when you know they're going to be competing with 7 billion people, 7 billion other citizens? Wouldn't you want to empower them with the best education you could? The best example of purity, clarity, understanding, the capacity to negotiate their way through the worldliness. This would be a greater effect whether you would have children or whether you won't. Now, whether you want to be very prolific and have lots of kids, or whether you want to have one or two, will be the personal decision that you will make based on your capacity to have, to care for them, to empower them, to give them as much as you wish to give them. Nanda?
Question from Marcy. When does the soul enter the fetus?
Marcy, the soul, we're going to talk about that in the next samskara. It's called a punsaban. And the soul will enter the fetus, or the fetus will form around the soul or with the soul. The soul will manifest as a fetus afterwards. First, we're deciding that this soul will come through us into manifestation. This is the first step of our sankalpa. Then, Marcy, afterwards, we will perform the act of actually uniting the eggs. And when the eggs quicken and actually form a fetus, even the first signs of a fetus, then we have another samskara. Nanda?
A question from Sushila from Massachusetts.
Namaste, Sushila.
Does a soul waiting to incarnate shop around for parents and family members to help fulfill its soul's purpose?
No, Sushila, I don't believe that he shops or she shops. This isn't the kind of mall where they can go and select all the, or try on all the merchandise and then choose the one they want to take home. Rather, the soul of the unborn child has a propensity, it has a tendency, it has unfinished samskaras, it has vasanas, it has prarabdha karma that is attached to the soul, and that soul is attracted like iron to a magnet to the family that can provide the environment most conducive towards the fulfillment of those vasanas, towards the fulfillment of that prarabdha karma, towards the perfection of that samskara. So he doesn't shop, but he's drawn, or she is drawn automatically, without question, without issue, without demur. Nanda?
When does the soul incarnate in a body? Is it at the moment of conception, implantation, or later in the pregnancy?
No, Sushila, it is at the moment when the semen unites with the ovum, then there is a soul. The soul of each has contributed to the one soul. As soon as you have a fertilized egg, you have a manifestation of the soul that's going to be. Now, obviously, we are calling the universal consciousness, the Paramatma, is the supreme soul. And the individual consciousness, the Purush, from each individual, is the individual soul. And Mama has a Purush, that consciousness within her egg. And Papa has a consciousness within his egg. And when the two forms of consciousness unite into one, it gives birth to the thesis, antithesis, and the synthesis. And this is the soul of that individual which wants to be manifest. Nanda?
Question from Ramya from Bangalore.
Namaste, Rami Mami.
When a couple prays to the God to bless them with a child that is divine and spiritual, will the child accordingly attract such a soul?
Definitely, if they have enough samjam, if they have enough restraint, if they have enough self-control, if they have enough presence of mind to make this a divine act for the purpose of inviting a divine soul to manifest in a divine family, definitely such a soul will manifest. If it's an afterthought, If it's a moment of pleasure, if it's a moment of infatuation or inspiration or any other reason, then you're playing the lottery. You don't know who's going to come, in what way. But if husband and wife come together and say, let's make the sankalpa together, and then they go to the guru and say, help us manifest this sankalpa. And the guru blesses them and says, now you will give this orgya and pray to the sun and pray to God and pray to Vishnu and pray to Shiva, and you can pray to Manasa Devi, and you can pray to, in every tradition there are so many ways of offering the prayer for progeny. If you have that sankalpa, if you have that attitude, if you have that presence of mind, and you make every constituent element a divine act of this puja, then you are bound to be blessed with divine children. It's the fact of life. It's the law of the scripture. Nanda?
Question from Ambika from New Jersey.
Namaste, Ambika Ma. Namaste, Sham.
Only one partner feels ready to have children.
Was that the whole question?
Yes, Swamiji.
If only one partner is ready to have children, stop! Don't do it alone. There are certain cases where someone did it alone. But generally we are not in that bhava. I want to tell you the story of Shilad Rishi. Shilad Rishi, a young healthy man, stood up on one foot and said Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, until he was an old man. And Parvati said to Shiva, Shiva, you better go bless that Rishi. He's been meditating all these years. You've got to grant him the boon. He's a great devotee. And Shiva said, I'm not sure that I can give him the boon he wants. And Parvati said, let's go down and find out. Sati Devi. So Shiva and Sati went down to where Shilad Rishi was meditating, and Shiva said, Rishi, wake up from your meditation. You can stop your jop. You can stop your tap. I'm giving you the boon of your desire. Rishi woke up from his meditation, bowed down to Shiva, bowed down to Sati, and said, Shiva and Sati, you have come, you're giving me the blessing that I choose. You know what I want. You're Antarjami. You are the soul of all within all. You can tell, just give me the boon. And Shiva said, Shilad Rishi Muni, please, don't test me like that. Tell me what you want. Of course I know what you want, but I gotta want to hear it from your own mouth. And Shilad Rishi said, I want a son who will be the greatest devotee of Shiva, eternally. And Shiva said, Rishi, you're an old man. You don't have a wife. What are you going to do with a son? And the Rishi said, Shiva, you asked me what I wanted and I told you. You said you would give it to me. Now either you're not going to give it to me or you are going to give it to me. If you're not going to give it to me, then what's the use of living my life? I'm just going back into meditation and I will say Om Namah Shivaya until I leave this world. Otherwise, give me what you said you would give me. Shiva said, this is a tough one. Sati, what shall we do? Sati said, better give him the sun. And Shiva said the mantra, and the sun became manifest. And he handed the sun to Shilad Rishi, and Shilad was so full of delight, and he said, "What shall I call this sun?" And Sati said, "You are so full of light. You are so full of delight to have the son that you wanted. We'll call him Nandi." And so Shilad Rishi became the father of Nandi. And now he worshipped, he did it by himself. Ambika, I don't think the rest of us are quite qualified to do it by ourselves. And Shilad Rishi gave, Nandi was from his birth a great devotee, a pleasure to take care of. Shilad Rishi nourished him and taught him Om Namah Shivaya, and from his childhood Nandi sat in deep meditation, in deep contemplation, and said Om Namah Shivaya. And Shilad Rishi took care of all of his needs and cooked his food and and dressed him and clothed him and took him, and the child grew up into Nandi, who became the head of Shiva's gun. All of devotees are led by the manifestation of bliss. And Nandishwar, the Supreme Lord who manifests as the manifestation of bliss, Nandishwar became the head of Shiva Gun, which means all the devotees who congregate to serve Shiva. He's the head of our family. And we all take his name and include it in our own because we are in the Dashnami tribes. We are of the tribe of Saraswati. And so my name is Satyananda Saraswati. We all put his name because we're all followers and descendants of that Nandishwar, the Supreme Lord of Bliss, the head of Shiva's gun, of which we are the family of devotees of Shiva. Ambika, it's a tough job to do it on your own. Especially if one partner is reluctant to engage. Then you've got a difficult negotiation. Now, if you find yourselves in such a situation, the desiring partner has to work double time in order to include and enroll and invite and empower the reluctant partner to participate. So these will be very important things because of your desire to have the child. If you have the child and you have a reluctant, an obstinate spouse who is not into the sankalpa in the same way that you are, then it becomes incumbent upon you to go the extra distance to invite that spouse into the relationship between you and your child, and with your child and with you, and so that it becomes a complete family. Nanda?
Question from Devi from Atlanta and Dan from New Jersey.
Namaste, Devi. Namaste, Dan.
If we plan to no children, is there ever another appropriate time to practice this vidhi?
Yes. When you will be giving instruction to your spiritual children who want to have children, then there's two choices as I understand it. Either you have children of your own, or you become a spiritual example to others, a spiritual teacher. And as a spiritual teacher, you will use this knowledge to guide your congregation, your flock, your children into how they can maintain a spiritual life and have children. And have children in a spiritual way so that this world becomes the reflection of our divine aspiration. So this knowledge will be handy to you even if you choose not to have a marriage and not to have a child and not to have any relationship with the opposite sex. This still will be important for you to understand. How do we engender? How do we pray beforehand? Not the morning after. But before we even engage, how do we pray and make this part of our sankalpa? So, yes, Dan, yes, Devi, this knowledge will be useful to you, to us all. Nanda?
Swamiji, another question from Dan and from Devi. And they're asking, why does it seem like the only ones who can live with perfection to have divine children are gurus who have no desire for this purpose? Can you please help to clarify this confusion?
Yes, Dan and Devi, I would suggest that the reason that the gurus have this understanding is because they are relating to knowledge without attachment. Whereas what we call normal couples or average couples are become infatuated and they begin the dance of romance, and in that dance they forget about the divinity. Whereas the gurus who have no attachment, they study this knowledge as a means of how do you propagate the knowledge and how do you propagate the bhavana? How do you continue the attitude and expand and engender divine children in their congregation? We know that you're going to do it. It's not like you're not going to do it. If you're going to do it with 100%. That's the purpose of this whole book. How do you have a perfect relationship? How do you give birth to perfect kids? How do you have a divine transition through your jivan yatra, your pilgrimage through life? How do you make it divine? The whole ideal of our coming together is to share the bhava of how do you make your trip across the earth from the conception to antyeshti, when we perform the funeral rites. How do we make it as divine as we possibly can make it? The expression of divinity and illumination. So I think this will become useful to you. Pay attention, please. Nanda?
Question from Dan. Swamiji, you have given me a new understanding as grihastha as anyone who lives under a roof. Is the job of a grihastha to get married and eventually have a child? Or can one be a grihastha who chooses to abstain from marriage for meditative pursuits?
Dan, this body is a griha. And this soul is the occupant within the griha. And every soul who lives in a body is grihastha. Now, practically speaking, as the first ashram is brahmachari, who learns how to make his contribution or her contribution to the society, and we learn how to make this place a better place. How do we make the world a better place because of our having been here? In Grihastha Ashram, we use that knowledge to, one, never become a burden to anyone else. Two, to always have a little extra to share with everyone else. Three, to nurture the young people the way we want this world to become. And four, to nurture the old people the way we will want to be regarded when we're old. And for those purposes, if you choose to have a partner and give birth and engender children, that's your sankalpa. And if you choose not to have a partner and to have your romance with God, then that will be your sankalpa. And if you choose to live with God and to work with God and not to have a physical partner, there's nothing wrong with this. But you still have to make your contribution to society. You still have to nurture the next generation. You still have to respect the past generation, because the predecessors who paved the way for us to live this way today. We want to share our respect with them, so we have to make our contribution to society. So, Dan, it's not necessary that you have physical children. But as we described in previous sessions, it's most probable that most people will. The reason being that most of the meditating rishis of the past went off to the mountains and didn't have children. And the only ones who had children were people who had desires. And every time, every generation, the desire became stronger, so that those who want only a life of contemplation won't pass on that bhava, that attitude, that gene to the next generation. Or they will do it in much smaller scope, much smaller circles, much smaller capacity. Nanda?
Question from Dan. Can we perform our puja to our partner on a daily basis?
Absolutely, you must. You must. Life is puja. Pu means punya. Ja means jata. Punya means merits. The privilege to sit in the presence of God. Jata means give the actions that give birth to those merits. That's puja. Now, if you regard your partner, your spouse, as the emblem of divinity, then everything you do for her, and then you get to do the puja. And that's how the puja works. You start practicing with a statue or a photograph, and then you move to the real thing. And then all of life becomes part of the puja. Everything you're doing for her. We take the selfishness out of our actions. We take the attachment out of our actions, and the actions become the expressions of divinity. And that is puja. Whether it be sweeping the floor, or chopping the wood, or carrying the water, it's all part of the puja. Because you have the attitude of respect and appreciation, of pure love, and inspiration and appreciation, and you just have that bhavana. And that's what makes it puja. Nanda?
Question from Alfonso from Canada.
Namaste, Alfonso.
Is abortion ever okay? And is that can be done before the soul enters the fetus?
Namaste, Alfonso, no. Abortion cannot be performed before the soul enters the fetus. Otherwise, it's birth control. But once the fetus has been established, it could be okay to perform abortion. And there are certain circumstances. And you have to use your discrimination. Every individual will use their discrimination, whether they are qualified to be a parent to a divine child. Do you have the wherewithal to care for this child? Do you have the partnership to care for this child? Do you have the integrity, the intellectual sincerity, the capacity to nurture this child to become a divine being? Or are you going to set this child loose on the streets of an inner city slum and let him be raised by gangs? And I'm sure that the world would be better off. Those 7 billion people would be better off if we used a little more discrimination on what children we want to actually give birth to. So, as you can tell, I am pro-choice. I believe that everyone has the choice. But in this class, we're saying, make the choice before you perform the act. Make the choice before you begin. Om Sang Saraswati Namaha. Namaste.